Hi, it's Miss Carla from the Elanco Library. I am here with you to offer a virtual program called Classics with Carla. And I hope you guys are doing well with everything going on. I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are home, and I hope you guys are washing your hands. It's going to be difficult for a little bit, but I think we'll get through it. I hope you can hear me well. I do live in an apartment, so you will hear other noises, probably from neighbors and stuff like that. And I do have a cat, and she's old, and she likes to meow a lot, so hopefully she won't interfere too much. So like I said, this program is called Classics for Carla. The book that we're reading is The Wizard of Oz by Frank Baum. I actually only discovered that this was a series when I was doing my undergrad. I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys will too. I hope you guys will enjoy this recording, and maybe it'll give you some company to hear a different voice. I'm not sure. But we'll go ahead and get started with Chapter 1, The Cyclone. Dorothy lived with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry on a small farm in Kansas. Their tiny house stood alone on a large, flat prairie. Dorothy only had one friend, her dog Toto. He was a small black dog who loved to jump and play. And one day, while Dorothy and Toto were playing, they heard the awful sound of a storm. The wind roared and the dust blew smoky circles in the air, and Dorothy was frightened. Uncle Henry stopped working and shouted, "There's a cyclone coming! Run for the cellar!" A cyclone is a terrible storm. Even little Toto wanted to run away. He jumped from Dorothy's arms, ran into the house, and hid under the bed, and Dorothy followed him into the house. Then a strange thing happened. The house turned around and round, and then it rose through the air. Toto ran from under the bed and barked loudly. It was very dark, and the house swayed back and forth. Dorothy held Toto in her arms and listened to the wind. She was frightened. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry were safe in the cellar, but she was all alone. Hours passed. The house tossed and turned into sleep. Finally, Dorothy closed her eyes and fell asleep. Chapter 2, The Munchkins. After a very long time, Dorothy woke up. Everything was very quiet. Bright sunshine came through the windows, and Toto pressed his cold nose against Dorothy's face. "Where am I?" asked Dorothy. "What happened to Uncle Henry and Aunt Em?" She ran to the door and looked out a magical land. All around her were beautiful green trees and colorful flowers. Tiny purple birds sang as they flew from tree to tree, and Dorothy had never seen such a lovely place. Suddenly she heard a small voice say, "Welcome to the land of Munchkins!" And Dorothy turned around, and there were 3 men and 1 woman standing in a circle. They were all the same size as Dorothy, but they looked like grown-ups. They wore hats that rose to a small point about a foot above their heads. Tiny bells tinkled when they moved. And then men wore strange blue suits and had long white beards. And the woman wore a long gown covered with stars. She made a bow, and in a sweet voice said, "How can we thank you for killing the wicked witch of the East? You have set us free!" Dorothy was shocked. "There must be some mistake," she said. "I have not killed anyone." The tiny woman pointed to the house. "Look, your house landed on the witch. Those are her feet sticking out from under a block of wood." "Oh dear," cried Dorothy. "I'm so sorry." "There is nothing you could do," said the woman. "She was a very wicked witch, and she made the Munchkins slaves for many years. Now, thanks to you, we are free." "Are you a Munchkin?" asked Dorothy. "No," answered the woman. "I'm the Good Witch of the North." Dorothy had never heard of a good witch, but the kind woman explained that Dorothy was now in the land of Oz. In the land of Oz, there were 4 witches. The witches who lived in the north and south were good witches, and the people loved them. But the witches who lived in the east and west were wicked. "Now you have killed the wicked witch of the East," explained the gentle woman. "There is only one wicked witch alive." Now Dorothy understood. She was happy to have helped the Munchkins, but she wanted to return to Kansas and see her Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. The Good Witch and the Munchkins had never even heard of Kansas. Dorothy was a long, long way away from home, and she began to cry. She felt very lonely in this strange land. Oh, sorry, my nose itches. When the Good Witch saw that Dorothy was crying, she took off her cap and balanced the point on the tip of her nose. She counted to 3. The cap changed into a slate, and on the slate were the words, "Let Dorothy go to the Emerald City." Dorothy dried her tears. "You must go to the Emerald City. Maybe the Wizard of Oz can help you," said the Good Witch. "Who is the Wizard of Oz?" asked Dorothy. "He is a great wizard," answered the Good Witch. "He is more powerful than all of us put together. He lives in the Emerald City. Only he can help you return to Kansas." "How can I get to the Emerald City?" asked Dorothy. "You must walk," answered the Good Witch. "You will see a yellow brick road, and follow that road, and you will find the Wizard of Oz." And then the Good Witch kissed Dorothy on the forehead. It was a magical kiss, and it left a round, shiny mark. It would protect Dorothy on a long trip. The Munchkins gave Dorothy the silver slippers that the Wicked Witch of the East had worn. They had a special magic, but no one knew what it was. Dorothy put on the silver slippers, waved goodbye to her new friends, and she and Toto began their journey to the Emerald City. Ooh, Chapter 3, The Scarecrow. Dorothy and Toto followed the yellow brick for many miles. After a while, they stopped beside a big cornfield and sat down to rest. Not too far away, Dorothy could see a scarecrow. It was placed high on a pole so it would scare the birds away from the ripe corn. The scarecrow's head was a small sack stuffed with straw. Someone had painted its face with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. It was painted in a blue suit and wore old boots and a pointed hat. While Dorothy was looking at the scarecrow, she was surprised to see one of the eyes slowly wink at her. Then the Dorothy nodded its head in her direction. Dorothy walked up to the scarecrow. "Good day," said the scarecrow. "Do you speak?" asked Dorothy. "Certainly," answered the scarecrow. "How do you do?" "I am pretty well, thank you," replied Dorothy. "How are you?" "I'm not feeling well," said the scarecrow. "This pole is stuck up my back and I can't get down." Dorothy reached up and lifted the figure off the pole. Since the scarecrow was made of straw, he was very light. "Thank you very much," said the scarecrow. "I feel like a new man." All this seemed very strange to Dorothy. She had never seen a stuffed man who could walk and talk. "Who are you and where are you going?" asked the scarecrow. "My name is Dorothy," she said, "and I am going to the Emerald City to ask the Great Oz to send me back to Kansas." But the scarecrow had never heard of the Great Oz or the Emerald City. Sadly, he explained to Dorothy that since his head was stuffed with straw, he had no brains. Dorothy felt very sorry for the unhappy scarecrow. "Do you think," he asked, "that if I go to the Emerald City with you, the Great Oz will give me some brains?" "I cannot tell," she answered, "but you may come with me if you like. If Oz will not give you any brains, you'll be no worse off than you are now." The scarecrow nodded his head in agreement and joined Dorothy and Toto on their way to the Emerald City. And I think that's where I'll end for right now. The next chapter is chapter 4, The Tin Man. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope to post this frequently. If you have any questions, you can always Facebook message us. There's an email on our website and all that stuff. So I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.